One, he's a good football player. I mean, good football players find a way to get open, find the ball. Good quarterbacks know how to give him the ball, I think, and hopefully I'm smart enough to give him the ball as well. So, no, he does a good job. Just from a physical standpoint, he's starting to understand more and more of what we're trying to do offensively. He's really getting settled in my opinion, and I was comfortable with him outside as probably anybody I've had in a while in terms of just if I know I got him one-on-one, I feel pretty good about my odds with him going up and getting the football.
Does one player like A.J. Epinesa influence a game plan?
Tremendous. He's a world of football player. He's big, he's long, he's physical, he's athletic, he checks all the boxes. He caused havoc here last year playing against us. He caused havoc this past weekend when you watched him. Just an outstanding football player, and you got to know where he is at all times. I mean, that's the bottom line.
What's that defense challenge?
Yeah, I said this last year, and I truly wholeheartedly believe it. I thought they were the best team that we played last year. I really do. I think, and I know their record might have showed it last year. But if you look at last year's game, they were just a couple points away from winning 9-10 games. And I think just they were completely sound, physical. They checked all the boxes, in my opinion, last year. And I think they're the same team this year. I think they're really good. I just, they're going to be a handful, and they're as good as here we are once again. They're as good as any defense I think we've faced. Seems like everybody's got a top-notch defense this year in the Big Ten. Seems like.
Donnie Navarro, a kid like him, getting a scholarship now, and what's he meant to this team over these last couple of years?
Well, I think he basically epitomizes what we've been trying to preach to our guys in terms of, when you get your opportunity, you make the most of it. And Donnie was a guy that, in my opinion, that was not buried, but he was behind some guys because he was ineligible last year. So he had to kind of set his turn and wait his turn. But Donnie always, when he got his opportunity to make a play, he always did, it seemed like. And he just became consistent and continued to gather the confidence of the offensive staff. And his role obviously expanded.
Notice Coach Smith being in a better mood lately.
Well, I've never seen him in a bad mood. Is he more jollier? I mean, is it the beard that does it for you, baby? Because at this time of the season, I don't know. No, yeah, I think he definitely is. I think we all are, Bob. You know what I mean? So it's one of them things where it's, the air smells better, the food tastes better, everything's better when you win. So, it's not just him. I think it kind of filters down through the whole entire program.
What goes into you evaluating yourself as a play caller when you watch the game on Sunday mornings and try to figure out how you can get better or what you could have done differently week to week? Good
question. I'm probably about as hard on myself as anybody because I got to go home and sleep at night thinking, okay, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this for? Why couldn't you have got this guy the ball more? Why, I run through all those situations in my head all the time, and I'm constantly trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to get better at? And a lot of times it all comes down to one thing, in my opinion. It's execution. When we execute our offense, then I know that, one, it helps me get in a rhythm, and two, I know that what I understand is what our kids understand, all right? It's more important that our kids understand it than what I understand it, right? I just told our offensive staff, it's important for us to know what we're doing. It's more important for our kids to know exactly what their assignments are and what they're doing. So we can add a bunch of stuff. You could tinker with things. You can do different things. If your kids can't grasp it and they can't execute it, then you got to dial back your coaching in terms of that. So I think that's one thing that I'm always, I love ideas. I love tinkering with new things. I love trying to figure things out. But it all goes back, can you execute at the end of the day? So, yeah, I do try to evaluate myself daily, weekly, however you want to say it.
Rhythm feel like as an offensive coordinator?
It felt like that last drive against Michigan State. That's what it felt like, right? It's just one of them deals where, Jeremy, where you're calling it and you see it from up top, and your quarterback sees it as well. He's seeing the same thing you're seeing, and the ball's being delivered, it's being caught, it's being protected, and it just feels right. And all of a sudden now you get the feeling, okay, now he can do this because he's seeing this roll coverage, he's seeing this one-on-one situation. So it kind of opens you up to take more shots, to take more chances, in my opinion, and kind of help our guys get loose, so to speak, if we can get in the rhythm. And then if you can add some tempo involved in with it, it's fun to watch whenever it happens.
You notice a few drives, like is it a gradual process to that, or do you notice it within, like, let's say that last drive at Michigan State? Did you notice early in that drive?
No, I noticed it in the second half, to be honest with you. There was times where we were it was close. First half we didn't show up till right before the halftime, and Bebe and Brandon made a hell of a play there before the half ended. But I think that gave us some momentum, and I think our kids understood that we missed a lot the first half. So we went out and we started executing, started making some throws, making some catches, made some runs here and there, and then all of a sudden it started snowballing. So, it's a feel thing, obviously, but I think it's more importantly you see it. Are you getting first downs? Are you moving the chains? Are you executing? And that's what it comes down to.
In a long time since the Illini quarterback had put together the kind of performance Brandon did in a road environment like that.
Yeah.
How powerful is that for a team on the road when your quarterback is kind of gunslinging like that and making those?
First of all, extremely proud of Brandon, the way he hung in there and just kept plugging, man, kept fighting, kept competing, and that's what Brandon gives you. And he's, as you know, he's never too high, he's never too low, he's somewhere in between, and that's a hell of a trait for a quarterback, in my opinion, particularly if you're a competitor and you understand how to control it, and he does. And I've said all along, once Brandon continues to keep getting comfortable with our system, comfortable with what we're doing, I think he can be a really good football player if it's all said and done. I think he's made strides weekly. So, it was good to see him kind of come out a little bit, and I thought he did a hell of a job for us.
Well, you mentioned 63-0 from last year to these guys.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if you have to. It speaks for itself, right? I mean, that's just one of the ones that's a nightmare you want to forget, but it's like a bad train wreck. You don't want. I mean, you can't. It just keeps going over and over in your mind. So, I'm not about revenge. I'm more about execution. I'm more about us playing a better brand of ball coming out here next Saturday, and see if we can go toe-to-toe and compete with these guys, see what happens.
Seems like you guys built that with each, stacking 4 wins on top of each other. How do you keep that through the open week? How do you not, slow down from that?
Well, I mean, you go out and you try to win again, right? I mean, that's the goal is to go 1-0. The goal is not to go 4, 5, 6. The goal is to go 1-0 at the end of the week. That's what you do, and you try to do it as many times as possible. So we don't really talk about. I mean, I don't. About stacking 5 wins, 6 wins. No, let's just go out here. Let's go 1-0 this week, all right, and see where we're at after that.
The recruiting message kind of stays the same of what you've been selling, but when you went out on the road, is there a different response?
There you go. There's the difference. The message is the same. The response is different, Jeremy, because we've been selling this place. We've been selling Lovey's vision, and there's kids that bought into it back when times were a little rough, and there's kids taking more notice now. During this time, the current time. So the message hasn't changed, but the response has definitely changed. I promise you that. There's just a lot more eyes, a lot more ears to listen to you, a lot more better responses in terms of our kids that we're talking to.
How does it feel to be able to go out with some ammunition?
Oh, it feels great. Yeah, it feels awesome. And once again, I think we have some guys that are tremendous recruiters as well that can go out and they work it anyway. They grind it, they work it, and they're good recruiters. It just helps their case, helps all of our cases as we go forward, moving and selling kids on our vision, moving this program forward.
Sorry. You guys have won a couple of big games as, quote, underdogs. You're, quote, an underdog again this week. Does that feel like an extra chip on your shoulder or something you ignored?
I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I've always liked when people say you can't do this, you can't do that. That's me personally. I've always enjoyed that. So I think kids are some are different, some are the same. They're going to react whoever they are. But I think our kids in that building over there, the Smith Center, I think they have a chip on their shoulder personally. But we shall see.